And thus, the widow opened the door to a darkness that would consume them all. Lalla Aicha did not sleep that night. The inventory of the vault burned in her mind like a fever. The Red Mercury was not just wealth, it was absolute power, a substance that whispered to the darkest parts of the human soul. She called for Kaddour at dawn, her eyes rimmed with the red fatigue of obsession. "Go to the region of the Sus," she commanded, her voice devoid of its former warmth. "Find me the one they call the hyena." Kaddour shivered, for he knew the name. It belonged to a sorcerer named Boujmiya, a man excommunicated from the circle of believers. "Mistress," Kaddour stammered, "Boujmiya deals with the Ifrit of the graveyards. He is unclean." "I do not care if he prays to the stones," she snapped. "Bring him to me. He is the only one who can break the seal." Kaddour departed with a heavy heart, traveling south through the dust and heat, towards the villages where magic is woven into the rugs. He found Boujmiya living in a ruin on the outskirts of a forgotten hamlet, a place where the dogs did not bark but whimpered. The sorcerer was a withered man, his skin looking like dried tobacco leaves, his eyes milky and blind, yet he stared directly at Kaddour. "You smell of gold and death," Boujmiya rasped, his voice sounding like two stones rubbing together. "The widow sent you," the sorcerer smiled, revealing teeth filed into sharp points. "She wants the blood of the earth." Kaddour had not spoken a word, yet the blind man knew everything. His Kareen, his shadow spirit, had already whispered the news. "The price is high," Boujmiya said, standing up with sudden, unnatural agility. "I do not want money. I want the first thing that comes out of the wall." Kaddour, terrified, agreed on behalf of his mistress, desperate to leave the suffocating aura of the ruin. They returned to the riad of Qaid Mansour under the cover of a moonless night, smuggling the sorcerer in like a plague. As soon as Boujmiya stepped across the threshold, the oil lamps in the hallway flickered and died. "Strong," the sorcerer hissed, sniffing the air. "The guardians here are not simple John, they are Marids of the lower depths." He walked unaided through the dark corridors, guided by the whispers of invisible entities, straight to the Wing of Silence. Lalla Aicha met them there, holding a candle that cast long dancing shadows against the sealed wall. Boujmiya ran his claw-like hands over the plaster, his body twitching as if receiving electric shocks. "Your husband's grandfather was a genius," he cackled. "He bound the treasure with the seal of the 7 kings. To break this," Boujmiya turned to the widow, "we need to feed the wall before we break it." "What does it eat?" Lalla Aicha asked, her fear replaced by a cold, calculating hunger. "Blood that has never seen the sun," Boujmiya whispered, "and incense made from the resin of the garkat tree, mixed with grave dust." "I will write a list," he said, pulling a bone stylus from his rags. "You must procure it all by the next new moon." For the next few days, the riad transformed into a temple of the grotesque. The air grew heavy, smelling of musk and rotting flowers. The servants whispered that they saw shadows moving on the ceiling, shapes that looked like wolves but walked on 2 legs. Boujmiya spent his nights in the courtyard, chanting in a language that predated humanity, drawing geometric traps on the floor. The atmosphere was so oppressive that birds flying over the house would drop dead mid-flight, their hearts bursting from the spiritual pressure. Lalla Aicha watched it all with a detached gaze, the Red Mercury calling to her, drowning out the warnings of her conscience. Finally, the night of the ritual arrived. The moon was a black disk in the sky, and the wind howled with the voices of the Silat. Boujmiya stood before the sealed wall, stripped to his waist, his body painted with symbols in saffron and charcoal. He lit a brazier, throwing in a mixture that popped and hissed, releasing a thick purple smoke that did not rise, but crawled along the floor. "I call upon the king of the Tuesday," Boujmiya screamed, his voice changing, becoming deep and guttural. "I call upon the breaker of iron. I call upon the eater of oaths." The house shook. Dust fell from the ceiling as the ground beneath them groaned like a waking beast. From the cracks in the wall, a liquid darkness began to seep out, defying gravity, pulsing like a heartbeat. "The door is thinning," Boujmiya yelled over the roar of the wind inside the room. "The Ifrit are listening." He grabbed a black rooster he had kept hidden and severed its head with a single motion, spraying the hot blood onto the white plaster. The wall hissed as the blood hit it, steam rising as if the stone were made of molten lava. "They are hungry," the sorcerer laughed, his eyes rolling back into his head. "They accept the offering." Suddenly, the heavy iron pickaxe that lay on the floor levitated, rising slowly into the air by an unseen hand. Lalla Aicha gasped, backing away, but she could not look away. The magic was hypnotic, terrifying, and beautiful. "Strike," commanded the sorcerer to the invisible entity. "Strike in the name of the pact." The pickaxe flew at the wall with the force of a cannonball, embedding itself deep into the stone. Crack! This time, there was no wind. There was only a sound, a low, mournful wail that sounded like a child crying from the bottom of a well. "It is open," Boujmiya whispered, collapsing to his knees, sweat pouring from his body like rain. A hole, blacker than the night, gaped in the wall, leading into the suffocating darkness of the vault. "The Mercury is close," the sorcerer panted, "but the true guardian has not yet shown his face." Kaddour held up a lantern, his hand shaking so violently the light danced like a chaotic star. "Go in," Lalla Aicha ordered the servant, her face trembling with greed. "Bring me the vials." Kaddour looked at the hole, then at his mistress, tears streaming down his face. "Madam, there is breathing inside." "Go," she screamed, her face contorted into a mask of fury that mirrored the demons they had summoned. Kaddour stepped forward, reciting prayers that died on his lips as the darkness swallowed him whole. For a moment, there was silence. Then, from the depths of the vault, came a scream that was not human. It was the scream of a soul seeing something that shattered its sanity in an instant. Then, silence again. "He is gone," Boujmiya said, showing no emotion. "The first toll has been paid." Lalla Aicha stood frozen, realizing that the price of the Red Mercury was not just gold, but life itself. But she did not turn back. The poison was in her blood now. "I will go," she whispered, stepping over the threshold into the dark, where the eyes of the Marid waited.